Welcome to the Loop. My name is Valentine Toroge.
And my name is Mike Wachira.
And we're taking a bold and fresh look at our lives in Kenya today. 10 years ago, August 27th, 2010, we were all a very excited nation as we promulgated our constitution. We were so optimistic. And now we're asking the question, what has this constitution done, especially on some of its big promises like gender equality? Where are the women of Kenya today?
And we want to hear from you. You know, you could be a young person out there, and when this constitution was promulgated, you were so excited and you were thinking, this is going to change my life. So we want to ask the question to you today. What has this constitution done for you in the past 10 years? Do you feel that it has done anything, or it's not worth the piece of paper it is written on? Let us know using the hashtag the Loop K24 on all our social media pages. That's the Loop K24 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also we have our WhatsApp number on the screen right now. Take a selfie, tell us what you think about this constitution, send it in to us, and we'll run them on the screen and have this conversation with you. All that and so much more on the show here tonight. But first, here are your news roundup.
KEMSA CEO Jonah Manjari appeared before the Joint Health Senate Committee to respond to the alleged loss of billions of shillings meant to fight COVID-19. During the heated session, Manjari was at pains to convince the lawmakers why he went on a spending spree and committed more than 7.6 billion shillings worth of procurement without clearance from the board. Manjari told the committee, co-chaired by Trans Nzoia Senator Michael Mbito and his nominated counterpart Sylvia Kasanga, that they were responding to an emergency pandemic and that there are certain items that had to be procured to save lives.
From March up to current, we have been giving a lot of board updates of what we have procured. So we keep the board abreast on what is happening on day-to-day through committees.
A Mombasa Chief Magistrate's Court has summoned Malindi MP Aishwa Jumwa to appear in court on Monday to answer to graft charges. The Director of Public Prosecution, Nurdin Haji, had on Thursday ordered the arrest of Jumwa and 6 others in connection to a shillings 57 million graft case emerging from mismanagement of the Malindi Constituency Development Fund. 6 co-accused persons in Jumwa's case were arraigned before Mombasa Chief Magistrate Edna Nyaloti. They were charged with 13 offences including forgery, fraud in procurement and money laundering.
Elsewhere, KPA MD Daniel Manduku denied a charge of conspiracy to commit an economic crime and several counts of abuse of office. Manduku was charged together with Juma Fadhili, a works officer, before Chief Magistrate Lawrence Mugambi. It is alleged that Manduku made an overpayment of over 244 million shillings to contractors for works that were never completed. They were released on a cash bail of 12 million shillings each, or a bond of 30 million shillings. The two will be remanded at Kileleshwa Police Station.
It has been submitted on behalf of the prosecution that the quantum for bail or bond be proportionate to the sums set out in the charge sheets.
The government has announced a plan to engage national administration officers in the war against gender-based violence. Interior CS Fred Matiang'i earlier today in Nyeri said the officers will take lead towards finding quick interventions against the vice. The CS also announced plans to deepen partnerships with faith-based institutions and its leaders to address an increase in cases of gender-based violence and crimes. The surge in gender-based violence has been linked to the COVID-19 pandemic, with actors in the justice sector reporting the highest occurrence between the months of March to June this year during the enforcement of movement restrictions.
We have a hell lot of work that we need to do, especially putting our communities together, re-engineering social relationships, and working better to ensure that we keep our populations not just safe, but we avoid some of the experiences that we have had in the course of the COVID pandemic.
241 people have tested positive for coronavirus, bringing the total number of positive cases in the country to 33,630. The total number of recoveries so far stands at 19,434, with 66 cases having been reported today. There were no COVID-related deaths reported between Thursday and Friday. The number of fatalities so far is 567.
I'm happy to inform you that we have discharged 66 patients, 40 coming from the home-based care program and 26 from various hospitals. This brings our recoveries now to 19,434. I'm also glad today to inform you that we have no reported deaths, and our fatality still stands at 567.
The Kenya Christian Professional Forum, in partnership with the Law Society of Kenya, have released a survey carried out to assess public perception on abortion, homosexuality, sex education, and parenting. The survey reveals that introduction of sex education will not necessarily raise levels of sexual activities among minors, which has led to an increase in teen pregnancy in the country. The survey also shows that 85% of Kenyans are against legalization of abortion in Kenya.
85% of Kenyans are against the legalization of abortion in all instances. A further 9% of Kenyans also reject abortion on request, but would allow abortion in some cases, like to protect a mother's life.
And there you go. Those are some of the stories that are in your news roundup and making highlights. And today we are having the conversation about the Constitution turned 10. And you know, Valentine, some of these things that we've just had in the news roundup today are some of the things that we expected would be addressed in the Constitution when it was passed.
Definitely by now. Yes, I thought when they first, when the Constitution was done, we voted on it and everything, and gender equality was promised. I thought things like domestic violence, like by now we would have come up, even if not with a complete solution, like we would have made such drastic steps.
I know.
Towards changing it. And now, COVID just highlights all the vulnerable people in our society, doesn't it?
And then the war on graft as well. You keep hearing all these figures being thrown left, right, and center. One of the things that, I was excited about in the Constitution was Chapter 6 on integrity. And you think that, people going into public office, would vet them and would, make sure that we have the best people there doing the right job. And, so many things have not gone the way that we planned.
Yes, one of the things I predicted, actually one of the things that I was wrong about, I was not excited about devolution.
Why not?
I thought we can't afford it.
No, but devolution is bringing resources closer to everybody.
I really thought we couldn't afford it. So I'm very happy that I was wrong. That's actually something that has been, actually done.
Right.
And something else that I was right about that I wish I was wrong about is corruption. I thought once we devolve government and now, more and more people have access to government money, we will see more corruption. And I'm sad to say I was right.
Yeah.
I wish I was wrong. It's my money. I'm a taxpayer, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But the question we're asking you today is, what has this Constitution done for you? 10 years down the line, it had such fantastic promise for a better Kenya and, for everybody, whether you are a person, you are a minority, whether you are a vulnerable population, whether you are a young person, a woman, for everybody there was something in the Constitution. Do you feel that this Constitution has lived up to its promise for you? Let us know using the hashtag Loop K24 on all our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and also on WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number is on the line there. Send us a selfie, send us a voice note, send us a video. Tell us what you think this Constitution has done for you. Speaking of which, there is a lady who spoke very passionately about the situation she is facing, and I guess she was also speaking on behalf of many Kenyans, and this is what she said.
Tumeamuka tukisikia vibaya sana juu ya nchi hii Kenya yetu vile inaendelea. Tunaamuka tunasikia mafuta imepandishwa, tumesikia gasi imepandishwa, vitu mingi zimepandishwa. Na tuliamuka asubuhi kuchaguana. We unaacha kazi yako, nilikuwa na mtoto mdogo nilimwacha kwa nyumba. Ndio nikachague president mwenye anaweza kututetea. Na saa hii hawajui sisi tunaelekea wapi. Tulichagua wabunge, kuanzia governor, tumechagua senator, tumechagua president, na wakai chini waone mwananchi vile anaumia. Hii Kenya ni kuhama, tutahama ama tutaenda wapi? Kwa sababu tunalia. Hatuwezi toshea kwa maofisi wote. Wengine tunaenda kuhaso, tunaenda, hata mimi naenda kuhaso watoto wangu wakule wapate unga. Mahali naenda kanjo ndio hao. Unaweka kibanda, unabomolewa asubuhi, unapata umebomolewa. Tunaelekea wapi? Watatupeleka wapi sasa? Na tutafanya nini? Tumechoka na tumechoka. Na hii ujumbe ifikie president. Aguzwe na Mungu. Tuliamka asubuhi mapema kuenda kupiga kura. Sasa tunalia machozi. Tunauliza hii ni nchi gani? Ni tuhame tuelekee wapi? Unaenda kwa nyumba, mtoto anakuangalia hivi. Ni maji utamwekea kwa kikombe akunywe, alale ama ni nini? Wao wamekaa kwa maofisi kubwa kubwa, wanakula wanashiba. Watufikirie hata sisi. Watufikirie sasa, tumechoka na tumechoka. Tumechoka. Sisi tumechoka, wananchi wamechoka sasa. Tunaelekea wapi nchi sasa?
Thank you so much to tuko.co.ke for that clip. Very passionate woman asking a very vital question. Just how has this, how has this constitution actually come home to your average Kenyan trying to make a living from day to day? And before we look at some of the tweets that you sent us, we asked you a question earlier today. I'd like to thank Josephine Kimathi, who is our sign language interpreter. And we asked you, what has this constitution actually done for you in your daily life? What are some of the results? What has it excited? What has it done for you?
Yeah, what has it done for you? And that's what we want to talk about, because a lot of people feel the constitution is something very abstract. It's out, it's way out there, in Guinea. But when you confronted with real situations, you're in hospital, you're sick, you can't pay the bills, you're being detained there, you've been arrested, you have come across police brutality, so many things are happening, you're being evicted from your home. Where is the constitution at that time when you need it the most? So that's the question that we're asking, and of course the WhatsApp number is online. Send us your photos, send us your videos, tell us what you think about this constitution and if it has done anything for you at all. Let's sample some of the conversation going on Twitter. Burugu Babu says, women form the largest part of the demographic in Kenya, yet they still fight for inclusivity in the governance system. Yeah, I think, right?
Louder for everybody, and not even the people in the back, just for everybody. Yes,
but
thank
that's the thing.
Burugu.
Women are not, we don't see enough women being elected into political office.
I actually asked somebody that this week, like, what is feminine leadership? When we hear leadership, we think of a man, right? We don't even think of a woman in that position, which is one of the hindrances, I think. But I thought by now we would have done so much more to get women into those leadership positions. Yes.
That's been the conversation, not even with the whole issue around the 2/3, not more than 2/3 gender principle. How do we get more women into these decision-making spaces? But also, how do we get the right women for the right positions and the right men for the right positions?
Good point. I would rather have a feminist man than a woman who thinks completely imbibed with patriarchy and everything, and she doesn't particularly think that women will make good leaders. Yes, I'd like to see feminist men, feminist women. Yes,
all right,
in leadership.
so let's
Moses Okoth says, the dream of a critical mass of women in parliament is within grasp. The significant changes in patriarchal political culture have been felt, even as we appreciate that there is still much work ahead in the space of gender equity. That's Moses Okoth. Thank you.
Yeah, people just need to, we need to get to a place where we recognize the importance of having women in leadership. It's not something that we're doing as a token of appreciation or or as a favor.
It's not, because female leaders actually raise issues that men sometimes don't even see. We've had Justice Njoki Ndongo, when she was a nominated MP, bring up the Sexual Offences Act, which I think, actually not I think, globally people have said this is a fantastic bill. We've had so many people do we've had amazing women do amazing things. I'd like to see more of them given a chance. Yes.
That's true. Let's see what else is on Twitter here. Moses Okoth says, the liberation is dead. Long live the women of Kenya. Lucy Oriang.
Okay.
Is the liberation dead though?
I don't think the liberation is dead. These tweets are, however, focused on the 2/3 majority leadership, right? But there are other women's issues.
There are other women's issues, the Constitution has, really, really captured all those issues really well. You're talking about property rights, you're talking about, inheriting, we're talking about women being able to own land.
I'd love to be able to move around Kenya freely and feel safe and secure.
Exactly.
Yes. And I think that has been a big letdown. The women of Kenya are not safe. We're not.
I mean, even if you look at some of the stories that are happening there on, in the mainstream media, and even in the roundup, gender-based violence is definitely one of the biggest issues that we still face in this country until today. So you're very right. It's not just about women's political representation, but also there are other broader issues that the Constitution is covering as well. We have more tweets coming in. This is from Wakili Steve Ogola. Says, politicians have spent 10 years manipulating and antagonizing the Constitution for making it rigid for them to get what they want. Now they want to change the constitution to make it more compliant to the political needs. Otherwise, the constitution does not require renovation. And this is one of the biggest...
That would make a great hashtag. It's so long.
It's not require innovation, but that's one of the conversations that's happening. Like 10 years down the line, do we need to look at the constitution and see what has worked and what hasn't, and start tweaking things? Or do we still give it time to continue and, we give it time for the spirit and the letter of the Constitution to be felt?
Because we haven't even implemented the entire Constitution before you start saying, let's change it and let's renovate it. Yeah. Politicians do not anticipate how tough the document would be. Now they are keen to loosen it. Anyway, this country is good. The president and CJ don't see eye to eye, which is good. The legislature, which is full of psychophancy, is in slumber, and that is Bashir Nuru. I wouldn't agree with that necessarily. The legislature is in psychophancy.
Okay, well, it says the politicians did not anticipate how tough the document would be. And, a lot of people say that our legislators are very lazy, especially in passing some of these laws which they find are a bit problematic. Like, for example, they're not more than 2/3, rule has not been passed, especially in at parliament level.
That's true.
At county level, fine, there's a mechanism for that. But at national level, we don't seem to have that yet.
And even when the judiciary did pass a judgment, it was not implemented, right?
Which brings us to the question about, do we even respect and uphold the rule of law in this country? If the court can say one thing and people just disregard and throw the papers around and say,
that is very, very true, which is why I'm excited to actually meet our panel tonight, because Kamodo Waigandra has had so much to say about the Constitution. There are some big questions I have for him, and of course, NGEC former
chairperson,
yes, and Karen Wakoli, who Obama, when he was giving his speech, Nelson Mandela's 100th birthday, was like, if there's a Kenyan, her name is Karen Wakoli. And she's the founder of Emerging Leaders. So I want to hear her experience with young people and mentorship, and how do they feel about the future they're walking into regarding this Constitution. So yeah, I think we have an exciting show.
Yep, and all that after the break. Don't go too far, but of course, remember, we still want to hear from you. The WhatsApp number is on the screen right now. Let us know your thoughts and opinions. Has this Constitution done anything for you, or it is not worth the paper it is written on? More on that after this break.